Have you ever found yourself just mesmerized by the vibrant, shifting light pouring through a stained glass window? That incredible feeling as colors spill across a room, changing with the sun. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of stained glass. It's really an art form that's been around for centuries, carrying incredible stories and profound meaning.
Yeah, and we've gathered quite a stack of sources for you, looking at everything from historical accounts of medieval art and religion right through to a really beautiful philosophical dialogue about the experience itself. Our mission is to sort of extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight, basically giving you a shortcut to truly understanding these luminous masterpieces.
Exactly. Our goal is to uncover not just how these windows were made, which is fascinating in itself, but why they captivated hearts and minds for generations, and maybe what they can still awaken in us today.
Okay, so let's unpack this. To start, what exactly is stained glass? I mean, at its core, it's transparent colored glass formed into decorative mosaics and set into windows, primarily in churches. But as we'll explore, it's so much more than just glass in a frame, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And what's intriguing is that glass making itself, just the basic material, was invented way back in Egypt around 3000 BCE. Just superheating sand, essentially. And the interest in making glass in different colors, that dates to about the same period. Blue, for instance, was a particularly prized color for glass ingots in Bronze Age Mediterranean trade. So colored glass is ancient. Wow, 3000 BCE. That's amazing. So you might instinctively think of grand cathedrals when you hear stained glass. But the earliest mentions of putting shaped panes of differently colored glass into a framed window for churches, that actually dates back to early Christian churches, maybe 2nd or 3rd century CE, though unfortunately none of those actual examples survive today.
Right. And this art form, it was very likely an outgrowth of Roman mosaics, those beautiful floors made of different colored rock pieces, and also wall mosaics, like that famous one of Alexander the Great at Pompeii, which actually used glass fragments, tesserae. By the 7th century, stained glass was definitely appearing in churches across Europe. And, it also owes a great deal to the rich tradition of illuminated manuscripts.
Yeah,
These handmade books with richly colored inks and gold leaf.
yeah.
In fact, some 13th century stained glass windows even directly copied fables illustrated in manuscript.
No kidding. That's a direct link. And the actual creation of these windows, that involves some surprisingly complex and even dangerous techniques, right?
Oh, definitely. Making medieval stained glass, it was serious work performed by guild craftsmen who, you could almost say, combined alchemy, nanoscience, and theology.
Okay, alchemy, nanoscience, and theology. Tell us more about that.
Well, yeah. The basic process involved several meticulous steps. First, the artist would create a full-size sketch. They called it a cartoon of the image. Then the glass itself was made by combining sand and potash, that's a type of salt, crucial for glass making, and then firing it at incredibly high temperatures. We're talking 2,500, 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Really dangerous stuff.
Wow.
And while it was still molten, they'd add these minute, almost nano-sized amounts of minerals to get the precise colors. It's like, well, nanoscience before its time.
Right.
For example, copper gave you green or blue-green. Cobalt created that really deep blue. Gold could give you wine red or violet. Silver nitrate, that's the silver stain for yellows and oranges. Manganese was actually used to make clear glass because glass naturally has a greenish tint from iron impurities in the sand.
Huh. I didn't know that about clear glass.
Yeah. So once the colored glass cooled into flat sheets, the artisans would use a hot iron to sort of score and crack the glass and then refine the edges using a tool for grossing, basically chipping away tiny bits until they achieved the exact shapes needed for the design. Really painstaking.
That's incredibly detailed.
It was. And finally, these pieces were held together with cames, which are these H-shaped strips of lead. They'd solder the lead joints together, and then putty was pushed into the gaps for waterproofing. This whole intricate process. It wasn't just dangerous with the heat and the lead, but it could take weeks, sometimes many months for a single window.
Weeks or months.
Yeah. So you see the nanoscience and the minerals, the almost alchemical transformation of sand into light. It was all guided by the theology, the stories they were telling. It was truly a sacred craft combining all those elements.
And the incredible result of all that painstaking effort wasn't just a static image. No, these windows were deliberately designed to be dynamic art. They react to the sun, right? Glowing brightly, casting these shimmering, dappled pools of colored light onto the floors, the pillars, the objects inside, constantly shifting as the sun moved.
Exactly. Imagine that effect. It must have been truly immersive, almost like the building itself is alive with light. transformative.
Absolutely. So the peak of this artistry was undoubtedly in the European Middle Ages, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Specifically between, what, the 12th and 17th centuries?
It's generally seen as the Golden Age, yes.
And this incredible blossoming is often attributed to one key figure, Abbot Sugar, a French abbot at Saint-Denis who started rebuilding his church around 1137.
That's right. Abbot Sugar is widely considered the father of stained glass windows, or at least a major catalyst. His earliest work, that large wheel window, a rose window from 1137 in the choir of Saint-Denis, was truly remarkable, especially for its profound use of this deep sapphire blue. Now, this specific blue was apparently paid for by a generous donor, and it was used significantly in the backgrounds. Previously, backgrounds tended to be clear or white, or sometimes a mix, like a rainbow effect.
Okay, so the blue was a big deal. Why? Was it just expensive?
Well, it likely was expensive, but there was a deeper meaning. What's fascinating here is that for medieval clergy, blue was considered next to black in the color palette.
Next to black, not like heavenly sky blue.
Not quite in this context. It represented a divine gloom, not a negative darkness, but a profound, almost overwhelming sense of the divine.